Welcome back to Paint It Kids. This is Jessica, and today we're going to do a very special video because today is February 3rd, 2019. Put all those numbers together, what do you get?
2319! We have a 2319!
That's right, so today we're going to be learning how to draw George from Monsters, Inc. Now, if you would like to follow along step by step, you can have a George, or if you want to create your own monster while we go along, then go right ahead. This is your drawing. Now, before we keep going, go ahead and hit that like button, because when you hit that like button, that lets us know what you guys like to see.
Okay, here I come.
We're working for a better tomorrow. Today.
So what you'll need today is a piece of paper, a pencil, a marker, and I'm going to be using colored pencils today, but if you want to use markers, crayons, paints, that is completely up to you. This is your drawing. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so we're going to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make half of a circle, and I'm going to leave a gap at the very top center and the bottom center. And so I'm going to start, and I'm going to be putting fuzzies as I go, and I get about halfway, and then I'm going to just do a smooth straight line. So the way you do a fuzzy is you bring it down, and as you bring it down, you bring it back in, and then down and back in again, down and back in, and then just bring it down and smooth it. And again, I'm leaving a gap at the very top, so I'm going to move my pencil over a little bit and then do the same thing, fuzzy fuzzy along the side, and then bring it down. And I'm not connecting it at the bottom. I want to leave room for my hands. Now I'm going to be doing the horn of my monster now, and I just do a curved line, almost like a smiley face, and then I just put a triangle on top of it. So now I'm going to be doing his arm, and I'm just going to be doing a curved line, but as I'm bringing my curved line, I'm just going to add fuzzies to it. So bring it down, in and down, down, in and down, and then I'm just going to make his forearm now, and I'm going to be bringing that arm up, and so now I'm going to be making my fuzzies go up. So I bring it up and then down, and then up and then down, and then I'm going to go onto the other side and make the other side of my arm, and again just adding fuzzies as I go. And if this is too hard, you can always just draw an outline and then go back and do the fuzzies over the top if that makes you more comfortable. Now I'm going to be doing little fuzzies across to show his wrist, and then for his hand I'm just going to be making a angled square and then putting two lines in the center and then tracing back over those with a curved line like this, and that's how I create fingers. It's a very basic way to do it, and I'm going to just do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to do a nice curved line down, do fuzzies as I go, and then make the forearm and make the fuzzies go up instead of down, because if he was to straighten his arm, it technically would be, his fuzzies would be going down, so we need to communicate that. And again, fuzzies across to make the wrist, and I'm just making little fuzzies right where his arms would meet, so like where his armpits would be. And now I'm just doing a square for his hand again, and two lines, and then curving at the top to show his fingers. And now it looks like he's actually holding something now. So now I'm going to be doing the rest of his body, and I just take fuzzies down, and I just go a little down. He doesn't really have a very long torso, and just fuzzy down and then fuzzy across, and I'm just really at this point just zigzagging my way through. And now I'm going to do his legs, and his legs are actually pretty short, and I have them kind of turned inward because he is afraid. So I'm going to fuzzy down, and then I'm going to bring a straight line around, and then I'm going to bring a straight line up and over, and then fuzzy the other side of the leg, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So the square on the foot is very similar to the square we did on the hand, so now I'm just going to do two lines to make his three toes, and then I'm just going to curve right on top of that to make it look like toes. And it's a really quick and easy way to make toes and fingers, especially if they're not very long toes and fingers. And now I'm just adding triangles at the very tips of his toes to show his claws, because he is a monster. And then I'm going to do two fuzzy lines across on his legs, and we're going to start putting in his stripes. And now I'm going to be drawing the sock that my monster is holding, and so I'm just going to do a square in his hands and then a little rectangle at the top and a couple lines to show the top of the sock, and then I just make a curved line. And my first shot at this, I realized that I made the toe look a little too big, so it started to look like a stocking rather than a sock. And you're just going to do a curved line, you're going to bring it around and then up, and then a nice little curve there for the toe of our sock. So now I'm going to be putting in the stripes on the rest of my body for my monster like I did on his legs, and I'm just going to zigzag across right across the top of his shoulder here. Just goes right off here, so it goes across his arm and his chest, and then I'm going to do a big stripe that goes across his belly. So I just zigzag right across where I want to have my stripe. And if you want to have more stripes or smaller stripes, you feel free to do whatever you feel like doing. This is just how I wanted to do my stripes on my monster. So I have a big one stripe on his belly, and now I'm going to put one on his forearm here. And as I'm zigzagging, I'm kind of connecting my zigzags to at least one of my fuzzies that I did when I was just drawing his outline. And there we go, now we have some fun fuzzies. So the next thing that we're gonna do is his face. And we want his face to be almost like a scared surprise. So I'm going to do 2 circles for his eyes. And I'm just going to do a pupil in the middle. I'm not gonna put too much crazy detail into it because his eyes are so small. And then once I have his eyes, I'm gonna create his mouth. And his mouth is like a frowny face, but then it curves down and up. And I'm not going to connect it, I'm going to keep it open because now he kind of has these big front teeth, a rounded square shape. And then I just put 3 lines in the middle of his teeth and then 2 lines for the side of his teeth. And then I put a little curved line to show his little chin, and then around the edges of his mouth, and then some stressed eye lines underneath his eyes, and then his 2 eyebrows, but I set those high so that way he looks surprised. And we are done with our monster drawing. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to Sharpie it. And I'm going to be using colored pencils today, but if there's some other medium you want to use, if you want to use crayons or markers, paints, it's completely up to you. This is your drawing, this is your creation. Now I'm going to be coloring my monster with orange and yellow, like how George is in the movie. But if you want to use a different color, or if you even want to design your own monster, feel free. You know, you don't have to do fuzzy stripes. You can do fuzzy polka dots. You can do fuzzy hearts. You could do fuzzy flowers, spaceships, dinosaurs. It's completely up to you. This is your monster after all. And in honor of it being 2/3/19, you know, this is just a day of monsters. So feel free to do whatever kind of monster you want. So now that I'm done with my Sharpie, I'm just going to go ahead and start coloring my monster. And like I said, I'm going to be using orange and yellow because that's what George's colors are in the movie. So I'm going to start with my orange, and I'm going to go every other space so that way my stripes will line up accordingly. So I'm going to go ahead and color all of George's body first. And now that his orange is done, I'm going to go ahead and pick up my yellow, and I'm going to do the remaining stripes in yellow. And like I said before, if you don't want to use orange and yellow, you can choose any other color you want. And I'm going to actually be doing something kind of special for his hands and feet, so I'm going to go ahead and color those yellow too. And now I'm going to move on to George's face, and that's just going to be orange. So I'm just going to take my orange and fill that in completely. So now that I'm almost done with George's face, I'm going to hang on to my orange, and I'm actually going to do a layer of orange right on top of my yellow. And this will make it more of a yellow orange than just straight orange, so that way you can still see the difference between where his fur is and then where his hands and his feet are going to be. Now I'm going to be moving on to George's eyes, which I make blue. I'm going to make his eyebrows brown. I'm going to make the inside of his mouth a red color. Just really adding in the final details here. And you can color the sock any color you want, but for the sock this time, I want to color it blue and purple. So next up, I'm going to be coloring his horn, which I'm just going to be doing yellow and orange, just like I did with his hands and his feet. And then I'm going to be coloring his nails yellow. And there you go, it's all done. Your monster is now complete. So in honor of 2319.
2319!
Thank you guys so much for following with me today. This one was a super fun one to do. Before we go, I just want to give a shout out to a couple of our followers. First, we have Yuta. He made this awesome owl from our How to Draw Birds video. And then I also want to give a shout out to Logan for his amazing piece of work that he followed along with our 3D sphere video. So if you haven't seen them, go ahead and check it out. And thank you guys so much for following along with us. These are just awesome. So if you like what you saw here today, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. And don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
This office is now closed.
Yeah!